A few seconds live. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday. Happy holiday if you want to say that. I am your host, Ori, and I want to welcome you to the Coffee Network, Alchemy Food Network, and this is Coffee with Ori, and I am your guest, Ori. Today's subject is dear to my heart. And we talked about this once before, but for some odd reason or another, I don't think that people seem to get it. So I want to make this very clear, only because within the last week, I've had a lot of my clients that have been my clients for many years, and all of a sudden it just seems like now they just want everything to be, they want everything to happen quickly. They ask me for work, you do the work, and then it's like, well, when is it going to work, or how long is it going to work, or how long is it going to take? And the bottom line is this, okay? There are a lot of great mediums, and there are a lot of great people out there. There are a lot of great witches out there, and people who practice the arts for many, many years. I've made it mention many times, not because I am arrogant or self-absorbed, or by any means, walking around with a chip on my shoulder. It's just by experience, these are the things that I am. Like I am an intuitive life coach. I am a Reiki master. I am a meditation teacher. I do many things. I am a reader. I am a Yoruba priest. And yes, I do spiritual work, and I help people to remove either ailments or obstacles that are in their way. But I also teach them through spiritual baths and incantations and spells and so forth. With this being said, one of the things that I've noticed, and I can give you many examples, is the fact that people expect people like me to work miracles. I tell you, this is how much this costs, and then I do the work, and then people expect everything to happen within 24 hours. It doesn't work that way. First of all, I'm going to explain something to you, and however it comes out, it's exactly however it comes out. There are mediums that will read you, that will charge you $250 to $300 to $400 to $500 to give you a message from the dead. Fine. Not saying that I don't do that, but I tell you one thing, I charge a hell of a lot less than a lot of people. One. Two, if I do spiritual work, I've known people to charge $1,000, $2,000 to do spiritual work. I don't go to that extreme because I'm not dying for money, but honestly, I think I need to charge that just so that people will understand and have a little bit more respect, because what I do understand, and what I have gathered along the years, is that people, when you charge them less, they go to someone who charges them more, and they assume that because they paid more, that the work is actually going to be done right and be done. Not necessarily true. Sometimes paying a lot, you end up paying more money because the work is not 100% done right, or the work is not done. You also have people that walk around holding their Bibles under their arms, and they are talking about their Jesus, 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 Jesus. But yet, the minute the man cheats on them or the woman cheats on them, they want you to do work for them, and they want you to take full responsibility for what happens, good, bad, or indifferent, and they want you to take the responsibility for it. And then all of a sudden, They're still walking around with the Bible, Jesus, 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 Jesus. When everything works out, well, Jesus made this happen for me. No, bitch, I made it happen because you paid me to do the work and I did the work. But the minute it worked, then all of a sudden you go back to being the person with a stick up your butt. And that's fine too. Whatever rocks your boat is fine with me. I'm not here to compete against your white Jesus. I'm not here to compete against God. I'm not here to compete against your spirit angels and guides. That's something between you and them. It has nothing to do with me. Now, when I tell you that I am frustrated, I'm very frustrated because, it has been a week of people wanting things and they want to see results right away. When these people have been in my life for many, many years, and I have worked for them for so many years, and everything has always worked out and panned out the way it's supposed to be, that now they feel that they have the right to question me and to tell me when they expect this stuff to to be done. But even more funnier is when they call me and they tell me, well, I'm going to give you half and then I'll give you the other half when it works. No, it doesn't work that way. So guess what? I'd rather lose a client that I've had for a long time and know that I'm keeping my sanity and I'm keeping my dignity than to put somebody on a family plan. This is not T-Mobile. This is not AT&T. This is not Walmart. I don't take layaway plans. The bottom line is you pay before you get read and you pay for your services. And if I decide to say, well, this is going to cost you this amount, there's a reason why I charge what I charge. And it's not because I'm trying to to explode you or to steal from you. I'm charging you what I charge because whenever you go somewhere, you charge for for the person's time. And when you deal with spirit, you're not dealing with just one certain entity. You're dealing with many different entities and energies. And if I have to work for you and I have to make sure that I have to remove whatever's negative that's blocking you first before I can do the work, then that's what I'm going to work on. So that takes time, it takes energy. And I, as a spiritual being and as an empath, I have to swallow your energy, as messed up as it may be. And then I have to take on your condition, whatever it may be, before I do the work. So the fact that you think that it's just lighting a candle and saying a prayer, that's not what it's about. Because when you are spiritual, you have magic, you have elemental magic, you have verbal magic, you have mental magic, you have physical magic, and the strongest, you have blood magic. So therefore, you have to choose what type of magic is going to be needed to help you or the people that you're trying to help, whether it's for them or whether it's for their family members. It's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of vibrations that go into it. Hey, Sadia. Hey, Niete. How you doing, people? My people. Peace and love and light and love and all that good stuff for you guys. So, like I said, there are people who may ask other people that I know, that I love, that are like family, that are also spiritual. Oh, well, can you help me? And then they're referred to me, but they don't tell their friends everything. They only tell their friends half truths. So when it's my turn to read them and I read them and everything comes out, then it becomes a difficult task. But then when I help them, this is the whole thing. When I help them, I don't even get a thank you. I don't get a thank you, but yet they want me to keep helping them, but they don't want to pay because what I charge to them is too much. But yet, the stuff that they're doing is so shady that you have to a decent not a decent. Let me rephrase that word. A person who's dedicated to their art would charge them more, because it is a waste of energy to deal with people who have no concept about what it is to be loyal to spirit or faithful to spirit. And I can't expect people to be loyal to spirit if people can't even be loyal to God. You know, people go to church every Sunday. They look forward to going to church every Sunday, and they will talk about the good book and, you know, God this and God that, and how we're doing this and how we're doing that, and how this is moving and this is panning out because I prayed and I paid, I do, you know, I paid, I tithe, you know, I tithe on Sundays, which a lot of people just give $5 and they put it in an envelope and they call that tithing. Okay, well, if it works for you, hey, if you like it, I love it. I've already told everyone how I feel about tithing. I tithe, whether I give poor people, whether I help people that are in the street, whether they're prostitutes, whether they're drunks, or whatever they are. Everyone in life has had good times. People have had great lives, but some people have had miserable lives. And unfortunately, it happens to them, so you help them. Okay? And when I'm not helping others, I tithe 10% to myself, which is where I go out and buy myself stuff that I want to buy. Okay? So, with that being said, we're going back to what I was saying so I don't lose myself. People have a lot of faith when it comes to certain things, or at least they say they have faith. But having faith is keeping up with spirit for the long haul, whether it is for the good, for the bad, for the indifferent, for the ugly, for the pretty, for the known and for the unknown. Dedication and loyalty to spirit, and then when I say spirit, I mean spirit, God, spirit, angel, guides, the powers that be, the universe. You know, I thank them for everything. Even when I'm not doing well, I tell them that I live in gratitude, and I live in gratitude for everything they've done in the past and what they are continuously doing for me on a daily basis. Yes, I have been promised many things. And sometimes people are promised that they're going to find happiness, or they're going to find someone in their lives, and time goes on and years go by and they find nothing. But does it really mean that you're not going to find anything, or does that mean that they're testing you to see where your spirit lies? Because if you're the type of person that can date one person and jump to another person and jump to another person, then where's your faith? Where does your faith lie? Your faith doesn't lie at much, because you're not really waiting. You're just finding happy moments for yourself. I don't know why. I've been alone for many years. I've been promised many things, and there are moments that I'm like, hey, did you forget me? But then, you know what? About an hour later, I sit down with them and I tell them, listen, I'm not questioning you that you don't care. I know you care. And I know you're probably molding the perfect man for me. And I live for that, and I appreciate it. Hey, Eddie, how you doing? Hope everything is well. So with that being said, is spirit, angels, guides, universe, they work on a 24-hour basis. So if spirit works on a 24-hour basis, why should you not work on a 24-hour basis? You know, one of the things that people may laugh at sometimes is they laugh at Muslims because they carry their rug around and they do, you know, they pray 5 times a day. I don't think there's anything wrong with praying 5 times a day. I find that to be dedication. Yeah. If I was running for president, trust me, a lot of people will be very angry with me. So I admire the Muslims and how they pray. Don't say that I admire everything about them, but I admire how they pray. And I too read the Quran. But I may not read the Quran 5 times a day, or I may not pray to Allah 5 times a day, but I do chant every day. I do chant whenever I get a minute, and I don't mean holding on to beads. I mean, I could be washing dishes, looking out the window, and I tell the spirits, angels, guides how grateful I am. And then I just start to chant in my head. And the minute spirit says enough, I already know that I've chanted 108 times. So 5 minutes a day of meditating and chanting, it's all they ask of you. They don't ask for more than that. They're not pushing you to do anything. But at the same time, you cannot live your life and receive all these wonderful blessings from the spirit guides and receive all these great moments, and then all of a sudden you hit a pocket full of crap, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you let me down, I can't believe that spirit will do this to me, and da 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 da, and blasey blasey blue. Well, you know what, maybe you've forgotten the things that you've done along the line. Maybe you've forgotten the harm that you've done to people. Maybe you've forgotten the harm that you've done to yourself. Maybe you've forgotten the things that you forgot to say. Maybe you have forgotten that at one point you were very dedicated to spirit and you lit candles to spirit, maybe one light, and you changed your bovela, which is your glasses with water, your altar, and everything was happy-go-lucky. And then all of a sudden you just stopped doing it because you got what you want, and you've forgotten to do what you want to do. Well, these things are important. These things are something that are necessary. You can't expect yourself to be illuminated by God's light and Spirit's light and the angel's light and not give anything back in return, because that's kind of selfish. And the fact that life goes on, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and there are many obstacles, good or bad, doesn't mean that you stop believing in them because one bad thing happened, or two bad things happened, or three bad things happened. No. You have to also remember, take responsibility for knowing that mothers that have children, your children are gremlins. And there comes a point where they grow, and it is their opportunity, because you taught them how to pray and how to take care of their spiritual stuff, and they do not. And then all of a sudden they go through bad things, and then you're blaming yourself, and you're wondering why, and you're questioning why. Why question? If your children are old enough to wipe their asses, they're old enough to pray. And if they're old enough to go out there and get high or have sex with young girls or young boys, then they're old enough to pray. And if they're old enough to talk back to you and call you all kinds of bitches, then they are old enough to pray. Do not take on responsibility that should be their responsibility, not your responsibility. A mother, yes, is going to be a mother forever, but you can only guide your children, okay, to the store. You cannot make them buy something healthy. That's up to them. So at the end of the day, why beat yourself up in the head trying to figure out why? Anybody who needs has to be able to reach out and get information for themselves. A mother can only guide them. A father can only guide them. You cannot expect them to do what it is that you want them to do, because 99% of the time when the children come to us, they lie about what the parents are doing. They will never, ever tell the truth about what it is that they're doing. They will only tell you what the parents are doing. It is up to the reader to know. And because I do know, I just take things with a grain of salt. Why? Because if you're not willing to do the work and you're not willing to put in the time, then you're not willing to eventually be a success story. My mother has been a medium. My uncles and aunts have been mediums, before they converted. Some of them converted, and before some of them died, and they were very powerful mediums. But my mom was the one more powerful than all of them. And my mom has never, ever given up on her prayers, on her thoughts, and the blessings that she gives to us. You know, anything happens, my mother knows that it is our responsibility to do it, but you know what? She takes the time to pray. And spirits, angels, and guides, God, they all hear her. They all hear her prayer. And my mother will fast and she'll do all these things and things will work out. But although these things work out, it is up to us. It is up to the children. It is up to the new generation to keep up and help as well. Now, I did not wander off so much where, you know, I lost sight of what I was saying, because I have not. Again, dedication, love, understanding, and constant prayer. People pray, but people are not saying the key, which is I live in gratitude of all the things that Spirit supplies and that the universe gives me and sends me in abundance from all over. See, you're forgetting that. You're forgetting that God, the Spirit, and the universe are one, just like the Trinity. The universe is God. Spirits are part of God. Angels are of God. So you have to understand that it is not always about money, because with people, it's either one or two or three things. It's either about money, or it's about relationship, or it's about something dumb. It's never about, I need this particular thing. Okay? Lord knows, Spirit knows, the universe knows that this coffee cup, and yes, there is coffee in here today, not kombucha, it's coffee, not water, not juice, water. This is coffee. People do not realize that if I need $10,000, I pray and I tell Spirit and I tell God, I tell the angels and the powers that be, I need $10,000 because I need to pay for this. So I put out my petition. I light a candle and I pray. And first thing I say is I live in gratitude. I close my eyes and I do this, and I also do this. And I release all negative vibes that are around me, that surround me. And it is by my will alone that I enter this circle of peace and of cleanliness. And I specifically say to God, my spirit, angels, and guides, I, or Evangelview, live in gratitude. I live in the gratitude of everything that you supply me every single day. I live in the gratitude of my health, in the gratitude of my faculties, the people that are around me, my family members. I live in gratitude and thanks for my car that I've received. Everything that I've asked for, I have gotten. And that's why I said I live in gratitude. I have been waiting for a partner for many, many years. But I'm not going to tell you that I have not had a hell of a lot of fun while I've been waiting, because it doesn't tell you to be a monk and not have fun. It's just telling you be patient. So while I'm being patient, I'm having happy moments. And those happy moments, I am able to see through them and see if these people are really right or wrong. And 80% of the times, they're not the right people. They don't say the right things. And you only need 5 minutes to find out if a person is a jerk or not. So my suggestion to you all is to understand that the same way you go to a job that you may hate every day and you work crazy hours but yet you still do it because you know you're going to get paid. Well, spirit has a sense of humor, and sometimes they do what they do because they know better than you. And if you don't trust them and you don't believe, or you've forgotten to the point that you've gotten in your life now, to where you've gotten to this point in your life, and they've actually helped you through it all. So big deal. They helped you through it all, but they didn't bring you a man. But yet you're alive. You have a lot to be grateful for. You have a life. You have a job. You have everything that you've wanted because you've prayed on it. And then you're just waiting for a person. But see, people wait for relationships and they wait a year or two and they give up. Do you ever stop to think that maybe those 2 years that they give you for yourself is for you to become your own best friend? Because I believe that when you become your own best friend is when the things actually open up for you. When you learn to love your own company, nobody else's company, your own, where you can be locked in your house for days by yourself and find something to do to entertain yourself. That to me is loving yourself. Lord knows, because I love to sleep. So I could sleep in my house all damn day. I could be in my house for a week, 2 weeks. Nobody will hear from me. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with me. Why do they lie to me? Why do people lie to me when they come to me? Because they think that because I'm a reader, I'm just trying to help them, and that spirit is not going to talk to me, or they don't believe that I have the abilities that I say I do. But one of the things that I always catch people and let people know towards the end is, you can lie to me all you want, but it doesn't mean that things are going to work out for you. So I hope that what you said or what you're doing is truthful, so that everything can work out for you. Because if it's not truthful and it doesn't work out for you, I don't lose anything. I've already gotten paid. So at the end of the day, you have to come in with an open mind and an open heart. And you have to come in with a clear mind and a just heart. Which means don't come in lying to me because you think that the spirit is not going to know. The spirit is going to know. You know, if you're the one that creates the problem, and I often tell people, look, I understand what you're going through, but you are also the cause of the problem, because you like to argue, or you like problems, or you like this, or you like that. And then they're like, no, that's not necessarily true. Okay, it's not necessarily true. That's fine. Okay, well, why don't you tell me what's true? Why don't you explain it to me? Because the one thing that I don't like is when people think that I'm such a fool that I don't understand. And that's okay, because what I can say is that I dedicate my whole life, my whole being to spirit. Yeah, Eddie, you're right. I don't bite my tongue. And that's the one thing that people find out about me really quick. People find out that I am not going to hold punches, and I'm not going to be one of those people that are going to say, okay, you lied, and this, that, and the third. I'm the kind of person that if your family member is dying, I'm not going to tell you a family member is going to die tomorrow. I will tell you that I see a death coming. I just can't tell you at this particular moment who it is. And even if I do know, I won't say, because some things you just don't say, and spirit finds diplomatic ways of saying things. But some people don't do that. Some people are not diplomatic. Some people will just say it. And they think that it's, well, that's what spirit told me. No, spirit gives you the knowledge. It is up to you to educate yourself and educate spirit. We're going to go to commercial because we didn't do the first commercial. So we're going to commercial now. It's 9:30. And when we get back, I will finish this, and we will conclude what we were talking about. And hopefully people will ask me questions. Okay, so let's go to commercial right now.
Food Alchemy Network. TV for esoteric and metaphysics. Coffee with Ori on Food Alchemy Network Mondays. 6 p.m. Pacific. Food Alchemy Network. Food Alchemy Network. Channel worth watching. Stay tuned. Metaphysic Vortex Channel. Interactive metaphysics for the body, mind, and soul. Angelic Whispers with Dr. Ron Bates from St. Petersburg, Florida. Angelic Whispers Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific with Dr. Ron Bates. 727-526-8768. 727-526. Excuse me. 8768. 727-526-8767.
68.
Intuitive Life Coach, Ori. 561-810-0566. 561-810-0566. Ori's have many books available for you to look at. Number that he can be reached again is 561-810-0566. Ori comes on a Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. One more.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even find it. Dr. D, Med Physician. Start your new process with yourself. Reiki, Prana, Muna Aiki, Biofeedback, Ionic, Detox, and personal alignment with oneself. Excuse me. Number you can call 818-570-0342. 818-570-0342. Back to you.
Well, welcome back. This is Ori. Okay. Eddie, one of the things that Eddie, you know that, Sadia, a lot of the people that are my friends that are on here, they know how I can be. I will give you the shirt off my back, and I will give you the love and respect that you deserve at all times. That's not a problem. My problem stems when people think that because I am a kind person that I am a weak person. And I'm far from being weak. And I've been called many things. I've been called old. I've been called a person who is of little power and little this and little that. And you know what? And that's because I tend to live my life, or I choose to live my life in a very humble way. I'm not really, people think I'm an arrogant person. And yes, I can be arrogant. But if you really know me, you know that that's a defense mechanism. It's not something that I don't even know half the time when people say that I'm arrogant, that I'm being arrogant. I just have my own way of being. So therefore, I try not to hurt anyone intentionally. But if I come for you, it's only because you've come for me. And if I come for you, it's only because you've lied. And you think that it is easy for you to get over on me, when in reality is not. Most people who live miserable lives lie. Most people who are not happy in their lives lie. Most people who want other people to think that they're thriving lie. My suggestion to all of you people out there that I do love and send love and light to, and yes, people, I am capable of loving, and I don't use the word often, but if I love you, I teach you one thing. If you get involved in a new relationship, your partner should never know 100% of who you are, ever. 1. 2, you move in together, your partner, you don't share. If you're going to have a fund where everyone in your household pays half, then you put in half in an account, your partner puts in the other half, and that is the money that you use for bills. But you should always have your own money, always, so that you don't have to say, well, he ran off and he took my money, or she ran off and she took my money. No one should ever have that much power over your own things. And some people that are married say, well, no, that's, we should have access. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that there should be a house fund where you should both have access to. But if you're making more than your spouse, I think you should have your own account. And I think that your spouse should have his own account. I think that people lose themselves in a relationship and they give too much of themselves and then they forget. And then they say, well, I'm doing this because God brought us together. You know what? God did not tell you to be stupid. And he did not tell you to be foolish. Okay. And then another thing is that if you're a spiritual person, you should never stop your practices because your partner doesn't like what you do. Because if you do stop what you do to please your partner, down the line, the only person whose life is going to fall apart is yours, not theirs. So again, they don't have to agree with what you believe in. They don't have to agree with it, but they should not be able to have the power to stop you either. If you have an altar in your house and they don't believe what you believe in, that's their problem. It's your home. They choose not to live with you, then you know what? Better for you. They don't need to live in your space and dirty your sheets. It's the way I just look at it. But people who keep themselves moving forward and keep themselves moving in the direction of positive energy always reap the rewards. Why? Because you don't lose yourself, in talking about things, when I have gotten in I would say bullshit relationships, because that's what they are, things that don't really last, that are meaningless, and they start to ask me about my personal life, and I just start to tell them things that are really not important, because half the time you don't even know it's true or false, because I've learned that people are creatures of habit, and people lie, and when people lie on you or they lie on other people to you, whatever they're doing to people that they cared about, they're going to do to you. So I have learned to choose what I want people to know. So what do you know about me? I mean, you know that I'm bipolar, big deal. Half of America to me is bipolar, one way or another. Other than that, I'm a medium. I am who I am. But there are dirty little secrets that only a few people know. And am I embarrassed about them? No, I just don't think that it's any of your business. 3 accounts, I agree. Yes, Eddie. See, going back a little bit before we go back to what I was just saying, Eddie, one thing that I learned, people think that it's just women. Men, a lot of straight men, and even gay men, not just straight men, all men. Some men go through these problems where they try to do things right because maybe they didn't do right in the beginning, and they learned, and they want the appreciation and the love of their mate. So they want to give everything. But then something goes wrong and the mate decides to walk away with everything. And then you start to feel crappy inside. But you can't get mad at them, and you can't fight with City Hall. And yes, the material things may be gone and you may suffer, but what is more important? Your sanity, your peace of mind, your health, or your material things? Material things can always be replaced. Let's say you collect Hummels and you had a big collection of Hummels and your partner steals all your Hummels. Maybe 2 years from now, you're in a flea market and you see all these Hummels for $1, and they're the whole collection, even more than what you had. So it's up to you to either buy them and decide to collect them again, or you can move on. I choose to move on with things. I choose to get away. I've been giving away a lot of things. I have been going through my drawers and my closets and my cupboards, and I have been giving away material things. And I have made my living room is very minimal. The only two bulky things that I have in my living room are my couches, which I will get rid of and just buy. I decided to buy just one uh, sleeper love seat. That's it. Why? Because I don't need to have so much. Although I paid for it, it's paid for, it's mine. I enjoyed it at the time. But I'm realizing that as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more of a minimalist. I want less. I want less, and I feel happy with having less. Now going back to what I was saying to you earlier about people not knowing things about me, things that people have known about me have become a weapon to people, and they feel that when it's a weapon, they take the time or they can hurt me. But what they don't really understand is that my skin is very thick, and it takes a lot to hurt me. And when you do hurt me, you better be careful, because once you hurt me, I will do everything in my power to try to destroy you, because I'm not a forgiving person. I've always made it very clear. I believe in God. I believe that God can take justice and balance the scale. I believe that the spirit, angels, and guides also can balance the scale. But sometimes I think they take too long. I think that I do things quicker, by confronting people face to face, by slapping you if I have to slap you, or tell you how I feel, good, bad, or indifferent, and how you're going to end up. So when you plant the seed and let people know about themselves, they destroy themselves. So it's food for thought. Now, back to what we really started on, which is the acknowledgement and the loyalty of spirit. Just the way that you are loyal to family or loyal to yourself or your mate, you have to be loyal to spirit, and you have to be loyal to God, to spirits, to angels, to your guides. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine. Believe in something that is positive, whether it's the universe or whether it's nature. Believe in something that will heal you and find your purpose. Everyone in life has a purpose. Everyone in life that was born magic has a purpose and has an element that they work with, and they have a tool what they work with. Some people sew, and that is their gift to society. Some people cook, that is their gift to society. Some people are good with their hands, that is the gift to society. Some people do Reiki, that is the gift to society. Some people, do on-hand healing, that's a gift to society. Some people are diviners, they read, and that's a gift to society, whether it's reading the past, reading the present, or reading the future. Those are all gifts, and we all have them. But the biggest gift that we all do have that we take for granted most of the time is the gift of knowledge and the gift of learning and listening. We all have the gift of what we call intuition, but we don't all listen. We don't all listen. We depend on humans to give us the messages instead of listening to the message that God, that God voice inside of you that comes from the bottom of the pit of your stomach. That voice that is given to you, it's God's way of telling you. Famous people, have often talked about it. People that have died young, people that have been musicians, Tupac was one of them. Michael Jackson was another one. Maya Angelou was another one. And that's why she said, when someone tells you or shows you who they are, believe them. Why? Because it's that inner part of you that tells you, watch that person cannot be trusted. So you have to listen to that. You know, sometimes we hear things about our partners, and no matter what we hear in our gut, we don't want to believe it. But we also have to be able to distinguish whether it's the spirit telling us or our paranoia telling us, because sometimes people don't know the difference between God's voice and paranoia, and they automatically assume that because they're hearing a voice, it's God telling them, oh, well, this one is being unfaithful and that one is being unfaithful. That doesn't always pan out. Sometimes it is your own paranoia because of things that have occurred to you in the past that lingers within your head. So when something doesn't seem right, you automatically assume that they're doing something wrong. Okay. Men have a tendency of being very needy. So when they have a woman, they want their woman to be there. And if their woman has a busy job, they accept it in the beginning. Oh, yeah, you know, I understand you have a busy job. But the minute that it gets too overbearing, automatically the woman is cheating, the woman is doing this, the woman is doing that, which is usually not the case. Women, the same thing with you. You know, some men, you meet them, they're working hard, and then all of a sudden you move in with them and they're working even harder, not because they're working harder, but because they want to provide better for you. And you start to question them, and you start to push them and push them and push them until you push them away. So if you're going to walk away from something, make sure that you walk away in a diplomatic way. Make sure that when you walk away, you're walking away because it is something that you feel that you need to do for yourself. Not because you're doing it because you're angry. No, you walk away because you feel that what you've done is the right way. And that is what I'm talking about, spirit. When you are devoted to God, spirits, angels, or guides, and that devotion does not go away, and you're constantly devoted to them, and you constantly pray without mocking other people, because that is another thing. You're spiritual, and if that person next to you is not spiritual, it is not up to you to judge them because they are not at the same level as you. Maybe they have a reason. I used to be a person who was in the church my whole life. I searched for God. Well, let's say I searched for Jesus, and only to fall on my face 1,000 times. To realize and to then accept that my Lord and Savior is God. God. So my prayers are directly to God. Why? Because God is my judge and jury. And if you know anything about scriptures, you know that we have a wrathful God. So God can either make you or he can destroy you. And he makes those choices. And then going back to what Sadi said, why do they do that? Well, you know, if you read the Bible, you'll see that God has done a lot of things. He took away Saul's family. I mean, everything. He took away everything. But you know what? After years of him suffering, he gave him everything in tenfold. Why? Because he was devoted, because he was loyal, because he did not give up his loyalty. You know, you can't, you know, not for nothing, girls, but girls and a lot of gay guys, you know, you pray, and then the minute you get a dick and it's a good dick, you're like, oh Lord, thank you. No, Lord is not the dick. Don't be praying to the dick, because the dick, that's not God. Okay, he bought you something to play with, but then automatically you lost your goddamn mind, and all of a sudden it's like, thank you, Lord, for what you've given me. So you get a prize penis. Are these dreams belief systems that I have to face because they don't make any sense? So God gave you that, but maybe he gave it to you for a moment, okay? And maybe he gave it to you for a second, or maybe he gave it to you to see where you were going to take that, okay? Just like when God brings a man who suffered, a woman, and you may see the woman and she has a big behind, and, you know, she's walking around with these low-cut shirts, and she's acting like a hoochie. Why would you want that if that was the pattern that you had before? Maybe God is bringing it into your life to see how faithful you really are and how much you love yourself. Do you love yourself enough where you're going to go back to that, or you're going to love yourself enough to wait to what he really wants you to have. Okay, it's a question. Now, Eddie, you posed another question about you just started meditating again, and these weird visions or whatever, whether it's visions or dreams. Well, we all have the gift of prophesizing. And if you used to meditate a lot, and for some reason or another, you've chosen to stop meditating because, for whatever reason, maybe you got what you needed, maybe things didn't work out exactly the way you wanted them, maybe things didn't pan out the way you expected them. It can be 1,001 scenarios. But the bottom line, my friend, is this. God is a just God, and he equals everything. He puts everything on a balanced scale so that everything can be equal. Sometimes, because we are now vibrating at a higher frequency, it doesn't matter if you stop meditating, you start it now. The visions that you see are visions, but visions and dreams are basically one and whole, except sometimes we can have a dream where I'm constantly looking at walls because portals open. I'm actually having a dream, and it's not a nightmare. I'm actually looking at things that are happening around me. Why? Because the vibration and the megahertz that we are vibrating on now, it's higher than it used to be. But a lot of people don't think so. A lot of people think we're still at the same. We're not. We're actually vibrating at a higher frequency. So you have to learn that a physical dream versus a dream through meditation, or a dream through sleep, and a dream that you have while you're awaking, while you're awake, it's the same way. You find yourself a dream book and you analyze everything about the dream. If you dreamt, or you had a vision that you were in a park and you were walking through a park and all of a sudden there was a fire, well, then you know what? You look at the dream. I was at a park, okay? Walking. Okay, I was walking in a park. Fire in the park. Everything has a meaning. Write it down, because it's the only way that you're going to understand and be able to decipher your and be able to decipher and read in order for you to have your best life. Because right now, a lot of people are having openings in their lives, and a lot of visions and a lot of dreams and a lot of weird things happening to them. But you don't realize that God is preparing you to have your best life. And I don't mean the apocalypse and then, whatever. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I already told you, God is not going to destroy the world. This world is destroying itself because humans that are that 1%, they do not care about money. They care about power. They care about saving their asses. And that's why they're trying to build and automatically now they're finding all these little mini planets that are like Earth. They've already found them. They've known about them for a long time. And a lot of minorities found these planets long time ago. But of course, they didn't get credit for it. Other people got credit for it because since, how it is in this country, I don't even have to say it. So everybody wants to take credit except the person who actually did the work. So follow your dreams. Follow your thoughts. Follow your intuition. Your intuition will never lead you the wrong way. If your intuition tells you something and you go the opposite direction and you screw up, it is your problem. If it's paranoia and not your inner voice, you will screw yourself up, and you cannot blame spirit for your screw up. You have to take ownership of your own screw up, and you have to acknowledge when you mess up, because a lot of people do not take ownership of their own responsibility, which is really sad. I tell you this from experience, and it's not about me, but it is my show. So therefore, I tell you, I spent a lot of years being angry and being bitter, and I will admit it to anyone. And nothing positive was happening in my life, and I was just miserable and nasty and bitter and going through all kinds of emotions and panic attacks and all this stuff. And then I realized one day I need to take ownership for my own stuff. I need to take ownership for my own problems. I needed to take ownership for the damage that I've done to myself. Not the damage that people have done to me, but the damage that I allowed to continue to fester in here in my mind. Because the mind is the worst demon. The mind can be an angelic being, but it can also be a demonic force. And if you lose yourself in your mind, you will not succeed in anything positive. You will continue to keep yourself in the abyss of not knowing, in the abyss of falling apart, and in the abyss of being bitter. So the question is, do you want to live your life being bitter, or do you want to live your life being happy? And happiness doesn't come that easy, and it doesn't come frequently, because if you really look at what Buddha has said, and even what Christ has said, there is no such thing as happiness. There are happy moments, and a happy moment can last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but they're happy moments. And in between any relationship, there's never going to be true happiness. There's always going to be pockets of happiness. And those are the things that you should be holding on to. The good things that have occurred in your life, the good things that you remember in your life. And those things that you have not been able to change, or you haven't been able to correct in your life, then it is up to you to confront the people who have hurt you, if they're still alive, and you let them know how you feel. And once you release that, you move on from that and just say, you know what, I've forgiven you. So I've chosen to move on, but I needed to tell you the reason I feel damaged is because of X, Y, Z, and then let it go once and for all. Why? Because it's the only way that you're going to be able to let go. But the easier way to let these things go is to talk to spirit, to remove that. Whenever I'm angry and someone does something to me, I tell spirit, remove them out of my head, remove them out of my head, remove that. Even if I have to do the mantra for 108 times, by the time I'm done, that person's name is out of my head. That thought, that anger that I have is no longer there, because I don't need it to be there. And that's what I'm saying. Loyalty to spirit is being loyal to yourself. If you want spirit to help you, there's a saying that says one hand washes the other and both wash the face. So if you want God, spirit, angels, and guides to be loyal to you and to keep you moving in the direction you need, then it's up to you to keep yourself prayed up, meditated up, and do all the things that you need to do for spirit, so that they can acknowledge, they can see that you acknowledge them, that you're taking the time, no matter how busy you are, no matter how sick you are, you're taking the time to acknowledge them. And because you're acknowledging them, they're acknowledging you and being thankful for you. Okay? Well, my friends, I'm going to let you go. Namaste. Many blessings, light and love, and all these wonderful things that you deserve. I thank you all for tuning in to my show. This is Ori with Coffee with Ori from, the Food Alchemy. And I wish you light and love. Now we go to commercial, and I will talk to you on Monday. Be blessed and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will speak to you soon. You're welcome, Miss Sadia. We should be going into commercial.
Food Alchemy Network. Empower ourselves. Food Alchemy Network. Natural lifestyles. Food Alchemy Network takes you into life's journey with yourself, body, mind, and soul. Coffee with Ori on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Angelic Whispers with Dr. Ron Bates, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Dr. D, Dinner Time with Dr. D and Corey, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Fridays. Food Alchemy Network, the channel for body, mind, and soul. Metaphysics on another level. Metaphysics and beyond. Food Alchemy Network. Good night, all.